Welcome everyone to your first session of Lit for Literacy. We're here to get lit for literacy. All right, so I am Emily. I'm the family coordinator at Cox Academy, and I'm here with you all tonight because I'm ready to empower our families with knowledge on how to support our students best in their literacy journey, right? I want to support our families in a way that I wish my family or my parents were engaged by my school. I believe that parents must know how their students are doing academically. And in order for our students to be successful in their education, there needs to be that homeschool partnership between the schools and the families, right? So who is ready tonight to learn how to strengthen these partnerships with our teachers in our schools? Steph, are you ready?
I'm ready. Y'all ready? Come on. Y'all got you gotta drop it in the chat. That's the only way we know you really are. Okay. Let me see. Who ready? I see Danilo. Oh, okay, Daisy. Thank you, Daisy. Way to be a champion for literacy. All
Yeah.
right. Andriette. Okay. Did I say that right, Andriette? Okay, Sam. I see you guys. Look, my name is Stephisha Ecoy Walton, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys tonight. I started off just as a parent who signed up to learn, just like you guys tonight. And I was about Lit for Literacy cohort and the things that we were able to learn. Having a fourth grader over at Cox Academy and being able to work hand in hand with, our school leaders and our community leaders to help accomplish the best learning outcomes for our students is something that I take a lot of pride in now, especially because we know we have the firepower behind us with organizations like FIA. So I really hope you guys, utilize your notebooks to the best of your ability tonight and that you're really ready to learn some new stuff because I can honestly say our son was not on track and he will tell you himself, but now he is on track. So I'm grateful for the tools that we have, genuinely and truly. All right. So look, let's move it forward. What we got? All right, agreements.
All right. So if we're all here to learn, we're all here to build community, right? So if we could please have our cameras on throughout the entire meeting. If you're cooking, we want to see what you're cooking. So please have your cameras on. If you can please rename yourselves, your first name, your last name, and then add the school that your student attends. And then we're asking if our families can be participating actively. So please use the chat. You can use some reactions if you feel called to. And then we're asking family if any questions come up, please send them in the chat. We are ready to answer any questions that you may have. And finally, just lift each other up in the chat, right? So we're here again to build community amongst our schools, amongst other EFC schools. We're all here to learn. So please give shout outs in the chat, any appreciations that you may have, send them in the chat.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let me ask you guys. Have you guys ever multitasked before? If you got your camera off, if you've ever multitasked before, you making dinner, you can still cut your camera on. I promise you. We're not gonna look at what's in your pot, but we want to know that you're getting half of what we're talking about. So feel free to still cut your camera around, or whether you're cooking. We still want to see your beautiful faces.
Yes, and then one last reminder, if you have not changed your name, please do so already. We want to know who all of our families that are here with us tonight. So if you can please put your first name and last name and then add the school that your student attends. I do see some iPhones still. Please try to rename yourselves so we know who you are. And then, so quick check-in. We're going to start using the chat, start blowing up the chat. So please in the chat, put your name, your school. Some of our families may have already done that. But if you haven't, or if you already did, do it again. And then the question in the chat that we're answering based on your folder. So the folder meaning our binders that we received. Based on the folder that you were given, what have you heard about the Institute? What do you hope to learn or gain throughout the entire Institute? So that is the question that we're answering in the chat. We're putting our first name, we're putting our student, our school, and what are you hoping to learn from this Institute? What are we hoping to learn? Let's see that chat blow up. Let's see. So what are we looking to learn tonight? What is this institute about? I see Stephisha. I will have better skills to facilitate Carter's learning. And please, if you're called to, please, you can also unmute yourselves and let us know, answer your
Yeah.
question. Isaias Vasquez, Lazier Charter. Isaias, what are you looking to learn tonight? Guillermina, what are you looking to learn tonight? What are we learning? What do we hope to gain tonight? Hoping to learn how to best support V's reading journey. I love it. Sam from Achieve. Reina, I would like to learn new techniques to help my son. I have Mariana in the chat. My name is Mariana. I'm hoping to learn and focus on literacy so I can help and guide my student. I love it. I want to help other parents.
Ooh, that's big, Emily. I'm sorry. I want to help other parents.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah.
Help my kids to read, learn techniques. Yes, that's what we're going to learn throughout this institute. We're going to learn different reading strategies that we can use at home to continue supporting our students reading at home, right, Steph?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think those tools in which we're going to go over, book walks, book talks, you guys will find a lot of pleasure in them for sure. And it's going to help our kids be so much better. So much better.
Yes.
Oh, and just to let you ladies know, but the chat is blowing up right now. Ooh, I can't even keep up. Kristen Navarro, my name is Kristen, and I have a 9-year-old daughter who goes to Ascend, and I want to learn more about the teaching styles my daughter is learning, and I hope to follow along with them. Most importantly, become united as a whole. I love that. Heck yeah.
Ooh, come on.
That's that
I
homeschool
think
partnership.
I'm loving this already. Oh my gosh. Okay, so look, what are we talking about? We talking about our goals for literacy for this cohort. Um, as we're here, you guys, and as we get checked in as a community, how many of you guys, and use your emojis for this, like use your hand. How many of you guys have ever heard the saying, it takes a village? Like it takes a village to raise a child. Either use your emoji, raise your hand, shake a hand.
I definitely heard that. And it does take a damn village to raise these kids these days. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yes.
Okay, Andriette. So let me ask you something. And this is a real question. If you knew you had 68 other people that was a part of your village that you could call in regards to making sure that your child was taken care of, whether it was for literacy, for sports, for we doing a fundraiser, can you give he need a ride to practice on the weekend or whatever, how great would you feel? Drop it in the chat. How great would you feel if you had 68 other people in your village?
Man, my life, that would be like amazing. Like, I got a small village, but having more added to the village, y'all can rotate. We can share these kids.
I love
We can take a break from these kids. Let's deal with some other people's kids, because our kids drive us crazy.
Hey, there used to be a show called Wife Swap. We need to do a kid swap.
Kid swap, man.
I'm with that idea. I'm totally with that. Well, this is what this institute is for, you guys, for us to come together as family, as community, to make sure that our kids are getting the tools that they need so that they can move closer to their learning outcomes. Yes, but we want to build relationships so that this is not the first time we meet and interact. We only have 4 of these sessions, but our relationships should go further, much further past that. So can we agree that we gonna keep a focus on building intentional relationships with the people in this cohort while we're here? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get some snaps? Some hand raised? Yeah. All right. Let's move it along.
All right. So what are our goals for literacy? What are our goals? What is our goals for this institute that we're doing with you all? So our goal is that we want 90% of students whose parents are enrolled in this institute to meet their reading acceleration goals. We want, if your student is not meeting their goal in reading, that is what we want our goal for this institute to be, right? For 90% of our students to be reaching their reading acceleration goals. The next goal is that we want 100% of our families to practice reading these activities every day. So in the Institute, you will learn about different reading strategies that you can do at home with your student. So we want all of you, 100% of you, to be practicing these reading strategies at home. We also want 100% of our families to know their child's reading level and their grade level expectations. So after you leave this Institute, we want all of our families to know where your student is at are they below grade level? Are they at grade level? If they are at grade level, what can you do to continue supporting that? And so they can continue to be proficient, not just at grade level, but even grow even further. And then we're here to collaborate and communicate between educators and parents. We want that to increase 50%. So after we leave this Institute, we want you to be able to have conversations with our families and with your teachers and be able to collaborate with them to support your student at home. All right, next slide.
All right.
Yeah, what we got? Values.
Oh, you go for it.
All right, so what are EFC's Lit for Literacy values? I'm going to call on 4 families to read me our values. Let's see, who can read agency? Let's see. Isabel, can you read agency for me, please?
Yes, agency. We build the agency and leadership of our parents to advocate for their children's educational achievement, individually and collectively.
Right. So we want to build that parent agency, that family agency. Can I have, let me see.
Hey, Emily, Mariana did raise her hand. I saw a notification if Mariana.
Mariana, did you have a question? Or would you like to read? Are you volunteer to read the next one? All right. We're gonna, let's see, who can read our next value?
No? I will. This is Kristen.
Okay. Next value, please.
Science-based. We champion a vision of high-quality schools, including a science-based approach to reading for all students.
Great. Thank you for volunteering, Kristen. I appreciate it. So EFC uses a science-based approach to reading, which not a lot of schools use. So that's great. Let's see. Any other volunteers? Thank you, Kristen, for volunteering. Read partnership.
Team Mariana was ready.
Asociación.
I'll read partnership.
Asociación.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Creemos que el acceso equitativo a una educación de calidad tiene lugar cuando existe una sólida comunicación, colaboración y responsabilidad entre el hogar y la escuela.
Yes. Thank you, Olivia. We believe that there needs to be a partnership, right? It's a team effort amongst the schools and our educators. It can't just be all on our educators and it can't just be all at home. It has to be a team partnership. Cecilia, can I have you read Right to Know, please?
Right to know. Parents must know the academic standards, the data, and their child's academic progress to be full partners in their child's education.
Yes. In order to have this partnership, in order for our families to be able to support their students at home, our families need to know where their student is at. They need to know this data. How are they doing on their assessments? How can I support my student at home? So it's the right for our families to know where their student is at and how they're progressing. So if agency resonates with you, thumbs up reaction. If science-based approach, use the hand clapping emoji. If partnership resonates with you, do the celebratory little emoji. And if the right to know resonates with you, use the heart emoji. So for me, I think all families have the right to know where their student is at academically. So I'm going to put a little heart, or you could throw it in the chat, or you could react. Thank you for our volunteers.
All right. So let's keep it rolling, you guys. The next thing that we're going to talk about, and just very briefly and quickly, our cohorts have 6 steps. So everybody can agree we've already completed steps 1 and 2. Right now, we're in step 3. You guys are attending the Zoom and actually moving forward in the spirit of leadership, right? So we're going to be responsible for making sure we complete all of the literacy activities every week to get your child to grade level and or above grade level, right? Step 4 is to attend 1 in-person session to practice reading activities and kick off the family-led literacy activities at your school. So make sure you get with your coordinator to make sure that you have done at least that one event, right? Number 5, be a part of a family literacy leader team at the school. So get a part of your PLT, right? Parent literacy team. And then lastly, we complete all these things so that we can qualify for our $250 for our fellowship. It's not all about the money, you guys, but $250 might help. So make sure you get everything done that you need to get done so that there is no hiccups in the end. Next slide. All right. So look, this is the good stuff, y'all. Before we have a very, very amazing person come up in, let's chat about our purpose and outcomes for tonight. Okay. So number 1, we just wanted to really invite the parents, all of you guys, to be key partners in EFC's literacy campaign. So Education for Change is the charter network, right? And the literacy campaign is this, Lit for Literacy. So you're here. Number 2, we wanted to introduce you to EFC's science-based approach to reading and instruction, right? So that you can those different tools and reading comprehension skills at home in practice with our children, so that way we can make sure that they're improving. And lastly, we want to develop our agency as parent leaders, right? We want to feel like there's a sense of ownership in our leadership by sharing our stories of self, which we'll get more into. So in order, for us to work effectively together to increase the literacy rates of our students, to actually help them manifest their goals and dreams, we got to pay attention tonight. So once again, if you don't have your camera on, turn it on, because we want you to be engaged with us. Next slide. All right, you guys, here's the agenda for tonight. We're here for a great time, not a long time, okay? So we've already done our welcome and our values check-in. We've already talked about why we're here, and it's all about literacy, right? And the science-based approach. Now, we're going to really get into it, and you guys are going to hear from some great speakers with some great information. We'll do an activity, get into our breakout groups, and then we're going to do one of my favorite activities, the Power Coat Parable. So please don't miss that. Be camera on and ready, and then we're going to get into another breakout group, and then we'll come back for closing. So look, a lot of great stuff in a little bit of time, so make sure that you stay strapped in. We're going to get going. Next slide. All right, Emily.
All right, so we have our amazing superintendent joining us tonight to share a lot of data with us tonight. Larissa, please take it away.
All right, thank you, Emily and Stefisha. Good evening, families. I'm so excited to see so many of you here. My name is Larissa Adam, and I'm superintendent here at Education for Change. And tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about our approach to literacy at EFC and share with you some data. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about why literacy is so incredibly important to me. And there's a number of important reasons, but the most personal one for me is my own family's literacy journey. And so my grandmother, and I actually brought a picture of this beautiful person. This is her way back when in 1942 with my mom. She grew up in a family that didn't have much opportunity. Her family was farm laborers. They worked on farms. They didn't own the farms, and there was not a lot of money. She was the youngest of 11 children. And so, when she was in the 3rd grade, she had to finish her education and actually go to work. She went to work as a servant girl in the house of a family that had a lot more means. And, that was there was really no choice. That was what the family needed in order to survive. But then when she raised my mom had a little bit more opportunity. It was still, hard times. My mom is the oldest of 6, and so there was still not a lot of resources. But my mom was able to go to school until she was 14. And so, she got more opportunity. She was able to at least finish her middle school education, get a little bit of high school as well. And then my mom had me, and I am lucky because I am the first person in our family to be able to not just complete high school, but I was able to go to college as well. And it's because of just the increased education that my family was able to have with each generation. And I'm super grateful to my grandma and my mom for all the sacrifices that they made. And I want to make sure that all of our kids get the same opportunities that I had, that I was able to choose if I was going to go to college or not. I was able to finish a college degree. I'm able to be in a leadership position. I want every single one of our kids to have that choice. Next slide, please. Now, the problem in Oakland is that right now, too many of our kids don't have that choice. Only 2 out of 10 Black and brown students in Oakland actually are able to read at grade level. You flip those numbers, that means 8 out of 10 kids in Oakland don't have the same choice that I had. And that's not okay. And I want you to think about, like, how does that make you feel to know that only 2 in 10 Black and brown students in Oakland can read at grade level? I'm going to ask you to put in the chat. How's that making you feel? And I'm wondering if Stefisha and Emily, if you might be able to read what you're seeing come up in the chat.
Yeah, so Vivica said, oh, never mind, sorry. Andriette said she's sad and she's mad. I resonate with that 1,000%. Maria, muy triste. Sad and mad, thank you. Disheartening. Bomb says disheartening. Disappointed and frustrated. Sad. It's sad. It makes me sad for the children that become adults. Alita says she's sad too. Viv says she's angry. It's concerning.
Yeah, so, justifiably, lots of feelings of sadness and anger, and I feel the same way. And that's why we're here tonight, because I want us to partner with you, with families, to make sure to turn that data around. I know that EFC is not all of Oakland, but it can all start here, right? Next slide, please. So in order to turn this around, we deeply believe that we need to partner closely with families, which means that we need to make sure that you have access to all the information you need to support your child while we are supporting them at school. And one of the things that is important to know is that EFC schools all follow science-based reading instruction, okay? So this is a type of reading instruction where it's based on a lot of different research about how kids learn to read. And there's all these different parts to it. At the foundation is something called oral language. So like when you're talking with your child at home about their day and what they've learned, and you're talking about your family, you're helping develop their oral language. And that's actually really important. Kids need that in order to then learn to read books. Now, in terms of like what gets built on top of that, kids need to learn phonics. So they need to learn how to like connect the sounds to the letters and to like put those together into words. They need something called phonemic awareness, where they really understand like the different sounds that the letters make, and they need to be able to rhyme and play games with the words. They need to be able to have a strong, vocabulary and understanding, like a comprehension of what they read. All of that gets put together to make sure that a child can read at grade level. And so during this workshop tonight and the next several workshops, you're going to learn all about this. You're going to learn what kids need to learn, understand in order to be able to read. Next slide, please. So let me tell you a little bit about what our goals are. And then we're going to take a look at where are we at? Are we meeting our goals yet or not? And what can we do about that? So our goal in EFC is that by the end of second grade, that all of our kids, 100%, are reading at grade level. 10 out of 10. Along the way, what we want to make sure of is that every single year, at least 90% of our kids in TK and kindergarten and first grade are reaching their accelerated reading goal. That means they're either already proficient or they're growing so fast that they're going to be proficient by second grade. What we also want to do is we want to activate EFC families to really build your leadership to help other families learn these skills. So everybody here tonight, I'm so proud of you for making the choice to be here tonight. And we need your help, because you're going to learn this, but we also need your help to get 500 EFC families to learn this. All right. So I want to hear and I want to see in the chat. What do you think about that? Do you think we can get 100% of our kids reading at grade level by 2nd grade? Do you think we can team up to do that? I see some folks saying, yeah, we can do that. I'm excited to work with you in partnership to get that done. So now let's look at where are we at now? Are we there yet? Are we at 100%? Let's look at the data. So here is the data from last year from our TK, transitional kindergarten, all the way to 2nd grade. And we had set a goal to increase reading proficiency, the number of kids who are reading at grade level, to 60%. And what you can see here is where each school was at by the end of the year. You want to look at the kind of like the purple and the blue and that number on top. All right. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to look at this and put in the chat, what do you notice about what percent of students at your school were proficient in reading? So I'll give you an example. At EFC as a whole, you see how it says 61% at the top? So that overall in all of EFC schools, we had 61% of kids proficient. So go ahead. I see some folks putting it in the chat. Make sure you're looking at your school. What percent were proficient? See that Stefisha wrote for her son goes to Cox Academy. Cox Academy, 69%. Yeah, Jamisha, thank you. 60% at Achieve. All right. Yep. Yeah. Somebody pointed out Ascend is the lowest. That is true. We've got some really important work to do with our Ascend TK through 2 students so that we can get them up to grade level. 64% Learning Without Limits. 66 at Lazier. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for looking at that data for your school. We want to get that up to 100%. We got to team up to do that. Next slide, please. Now, I want to show you we're already making a lot of progress. So last year, we had some really awesome growth among our schools, and that's both because our staff were working really hard, and we had a bunch of families who went through this Lit for Literacy already last year, and their kids were growing super fast. All right, so this is evidence that we can team up and we can do this together. So what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to look at that yellow bar that's highlighted where it says the change from BOY, that's beginning of year, to EOY, end of year. Okay, so how much did our kids grow from August to May? May is when we give the test. Now, if you look at all of Education for Change, we grew 34 points. Okay, really nice growth. I want you to drop in the chat again. How much did students at your school grow? And then go ahead and put that in the chat as soon as you found your school's number. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to look at the line above that where it says EOY, end of year. And I want you to look at the end of the year, again, how many kids were proficient at your school? You don't have to drop it in the chat. I just want you to remember that number and remember that we're trying to get to 100%. Okay? Next slide, please. Actually, we're going to skip this one, so move one more slide. All right. Now, one more thing I want us all to look at is we also think about the different groups of students that we serve, because we want to make sure that all of our kids become proficient, not just some of them, not just some groups. And I want to explain a little bit about what this chart shows. All of EFC, you can see again, 61% are proficient, right? So what you can also see is for our English learners, that's what EL stands for. Our English learners who are level 1, they're at 30%. And I want to explain that actually makes sense. Those are students for whom it's their first year in the United States. They are just starting to learn English. If you look at the next bar, all of our English learners, you see that our English learners, once they've been in the country, they are just as capable of learning to read. Okay, so if your child is an English learner, make sure that the expectation is still that they're going to learn to read in English. We're going to give them extra support, but they're going to get there. Okay. SWD means students with disabilities. Now, students with disabilities, they have some added challenges. It might be hard for them to process information. It might be hard for them to hear the information or to speak the words. And so it is an extra challenge when they're learning to read. But again, I am 100% confident that we can get them reading as well, but it's going to take that partnership. Next slide, please. All right, so now we're going to talk for a second about, okay, what happens after students get out of second grade, okay? And because what we need to make sure of is that once we get students to proficiency by the end of second grade, we got to keep them there. And the content becomes more and more difficult. So let's go ahead and take a look at where we're at in grades 3 through 11. Next slide, please. So this graph shows how many students are proficient on last year's state test in grades 3 through 11. And I'm going to ask you to take a look at that top bar where it says EFC. And you see how it says 32%? That means in grades 3 through 11, 32%, or about 1 in 3 kids were proficient. Okay, that's not where we want to be. We want to be way higher than that. In order to do that, we first have to get our students to be proficient in K through second, because that foundation will get them off to the right start once the content gets a lot harder. I want you to look at your school, and I want you to put in the chat how many or what percent of students were proficient at your child's school in 3rd through 11th grade. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. See that Rocio said 42% at Lazier. That's right, 42% proficient. All right, we've got Veronica from LWL saying 29% at LWL. That is correct. 35% at Ascend. Thank you, Reina. 42% at Lazier. Thank you, Daisy. Cox 17%. Thank you, Cecilia. So as you can see, you know, we've all got work to do, right? Across all of our schools. And it's going to start with that early literacy piece in grades TK through 2. Next slide, please. All right. We're going to look at this data a little bit differently now. And this time we're going to look at it by grade level and what happens with students as they go up through the grade levels. Okay. And what I'm going to ask you to do is take a look at this graph and see, you know, where students are at 3rd grade and then what happens over the course of the years. And I'm going to ask you to drop in the chat. What are you noticing? What do you notice about what's happening with proficiency levels over time? Thank you, Stefisha and Cecilia. Thank you, Guillermina and Daisy. I want to see. Yep, so you notice that for the most part, students' scores are getting higher as they go up through the grade levels. And that makes sense because we have a lot of students who are English learners who in 3rd and 4th grade might not be fluent yet, but they're growing in proficiency. So by 7th and 8th grade, those numbers are starting to come up. Again, it's not enough. We need to progress even more. We want to make sure all of these students are proficient because that's what's going to get them ready to be successful in high school and be able to make that college choice. All right, next slide, please. So let's take a minute to talk about how does this make us feel to see this data? And I'm going to ask for some folks to come off mute and share, how are you feeling about this? And I'd love to see some comments from folks across all different schools.
I guess I can go. Well, for me, it feels pretty good because I'm not only a parent at Achieve right now, I actually do small groups and I do SIPS interventions with kindergartners. So looking at this and seeing this, like it actually feels pretty good. It feels pretty amazing knowing that I have a part in like building the foundational literacy for them that helps them kind of continue their journey on. So it's actually pretty amazing that it's working. So it's definitely something that we have to continue doing.
Thank you, Jamisha. I really appreciate your comments. Yeah, who would like to build on to that? Who would like to share how they're feeling about this?
If I could, Larissa, I would just say that I feel happy that we're making improvements and that we can see our kids moving forward the longer they stay with us. The part that makes me sad is that not enough of our children are proficient early enough. So I'm definitely on board with you in terms of making sure that they can read early so that the work later is a bit easier.
Yep, that's so important. I'm glad you said that because, you know, starting in 3rd and 4th grade, what kids need to read and the types of questions they need to answer are so complex. So we have to get them reading by the end of 2nd grade. They have to be able to devote more of their brain power to answering really complicated questions and not trying to figure out what the words say and what they mean. All right, I want to take one more comment. How are you feeling about this data?
There's one in the chat I might want to read, Larissa. You know, your Spanish is much better than mine. It's from Mariana.
All right, let me see. I'm gonna translate this. Mariana says, as a parent at Achieve, she's feeling very committed to achieving and to learning, in order to be able to guide her daughter's reading development, her literacy development, and that everything starts at home, and that, let's see. Everything starts at home, and so that they can develop themselves more in school, and that it's really important to have good communication between everybody. And so, sí, Mariana, estoy de acuerdo lo que hacemos en la casa y en la escuela podemos trabajar juntos para desarrollar las destrezas de lectura de los niños. Muchas gracias por su comentario. All right. Thank you, everybody. I am excited to see this work continue here tonight. I'm gonna, I think I hand it back at this point, but again, I really, really appreciate seeing so many EFC families on tonight and can't wait for you to make this journey with us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Larissa. So, guys, so here at FIA, we have something called a FIA Woot Woot. And we're going to go ahead and give Larissa a big FIA Woot Woot. And as a teacher, I have to give an exemplar. You know what I mean? Can't just tell y'all what to do. So a FIA Woot Woot, I'm going to go ahead and say 1, 2, 3. And then everybody's going to come off of mute and say Woot Woot. I want to hear everybody come off of mute, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and do it. 1. Oh, I can't even count. 1, 2, 3. Woo, woo,
Whoa.
I love it. I love it. Larissa, I hope you felt all that love. We're super, super appreciative of the fact that you came and presented us and blessed us with all this information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, folks. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with what is on schedule tonight. We're gonna go ahead and start with our literacy lesson. It's the first one of many, and it's called Reading at Home. Isabel, would you like to go ahead and come off of mute and introduce yourself a little bit?
Ay, sorry, I was answering text. Hola, buenas noches, familia. Mi nombre es Isabel Gómez. Soy la coordinadora de Achieve Academy.
Awesome. And as I mentioned before, folks, my name is Danilo Juarez. I am a FIA family organizer. I am also a dean of students over at Kip Bridge in West Oakland. It is the very same middle school that I attended as a young boy. Back when we started in 2002, I was actually part of the founding class. And now I actually have the pleasure of serving that school with my principal at the time, which is super, super dope. And you know, the work that we do at KIP and also with FIA is something that allows me to continue to push forward when it comes down to bringing the knowledge to folks, because this is what it's all about: being able to share the knowledge and not gatekeep. If you guys get what I'm saying. So we're super excited to go ahead and get rocking on this. So let's go ahead and move forward. All right, take it away, Isabel. Nope.
Buenas noches, familias. Vamos a enseñarles un pequeño video acerca de qué es la lectura en casa con un libro caminado. Se le llama un libro abierto, sentado, para pequeños niños. Can you put a play, Danilo?
Yep, here we go.
Take a book walk, a family workshop video from Springboard Collaborative. Taking a book walk is an easy and fun way to preview a book with your child. Here are the basics. Number 1, touch the page. Encourage your child to point to parts of the page, circling things with their fingers as they tell you what they see. Hand them the book and let them do it on their own. This physical action can really help your child make a mental picture of what's going on. During a book walk, you do a lot of talking. So you talk about the picture and say what's happening. Let's watch how one mother talks about the pictures with her son.
What do you think is happening on this page? Tiny was big. Oh, maybe Tiny is the dog name and not the boy's name. What do you think is happening on this page?
The dog is playing with and
And maybe the dog bothers all the kids' stuff. Maybe the dog gets into all the stuff and yells it out and fights. What do you think is happening on this page?
Did you notice how she helped her child by asking, what do you think is happening on this page? Then she modeled an answer by starting with, maybe. This way it felt like a conversation, not a test. A book walk should be fun. She could have also asked things like, what do you see? What are you thinking? Where are the characters now? What makes you say that? How has the picture changed from the next picture or the previous page? And in the end, what is this book going to be all about? As the at-home reading coach, you know that asking questions and talking about books is very important. Talking about a book before we read a story isn't cheating. It's a great way to preview some of the words and ideas your child will need as they try to figure out the words and understand what they read. Plus, they can get excited about the book. So the last step of a book walk is to go back to the beginning and start reading. Enjoy.
Ok, familias, como ustedes pudieron ver en este pequeño video, ¿qué es lo que pueden observar que está haciendo la mamá? ¿Qué es lo que están viendo que pasa? Vivica, ¿nos puedes dar un ejemplo de qué pasa?
Absolutely. What you see going on is the parent, she's asking him questions while reading the book to kind of allow him to think more than just what's the words on the page. That's what I see. That's what I resonate most with, is that she's allowing his mind to kind of wander than just read the words. She's asking, what do you see here? The colors and stuff like that. And that's important.
Muchas gracias, Vivica. Algunos de ustedes, papás, notan que está la televisión prendida, la mamá está en el teléfono, el niño está llorando. ¿Vemos algo más que podemos ver que está pasando aquí? ¿Alguien más quiere compartirnos? Mariana, ¿qué ves aquí?
Veo a una mamá muy comprometida en un lugar muy tranquilo, sin ninguna distracción alguna, y todo visualizar y tocar el libro.
Muy bien, muchas gracias por compartir, Mariana. Como pueden ver, la mamá se está poniendo como en un carácter que le llaman como en una actriz y está leyendo el libro a nivel del niño. Está tratando de decirle, uy, ¿qué pasó aquí? Pero mira, sigue esto y qué va a continuar. So, de esta manera podemos estar leyendo todas las noches con nuestros niños, no importa el idioma que leemos, mientras sigamos y continuamos la lectura con ellos y creamos un hábito de lectura. Danilo?
Awesome. Thank you, Isabel. And I would love to go ahead and just say this to y'all folks. Do y'all see the mama carrying the baby while she reading to the other baby? That to me
Yeah.
is phenomenal. I was raised by a single mom, so she's a single mom of 5. So seeing that to me, I'm like, I love the power that reading gives. You know what I mean? Especially in a cozy, home environment. And cool. So now we're gonna go ahead and move forward to the next slide where I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit, about doing some independent reading. However, I have a video. Don't tell her because she might want some licensing money. You know what I mean? But the Ana Ovalle, excuse me, from last year, she actually came and sent a video of her son doing some independent reading at home. Now, this is something that goes towards the older kids. You know what I mean? Allowing them to have a little more agency over their own reading. But I'm going to go ahead and play this this short, about 20-30 second video. Please see how this young boy is reading. Cool. Here we go.
Why don't you run and play with another little ball and skip and
See the video.
your head? He would say, but Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers.
Oh, excuse me. Awesome. I'm going to get back into the presenting mode. Dope. So let me ask y'all this. What did y'all know about this? What did you guys notice about this young boy in his finger as he was reading? Let me go ahead and ask somebody because here comes the teacher in me, y'all. Let's see.
Danilo, we were not able to see the video.
You weren't able to see the video. Were you able to hear it?
Yes, we could hear, but we couldn't see.
Awesome. Okay, well, let me go ahead and say this then. That young boy was following along with his finger. That is something that is super important. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, I do work at a school, and I'm actually also, teaching a block of ELA in the morning to 7th graders. And when I tell you it is so important for these kids to read with their fingers, because sometimes that confidence actually comes from the lack of them being able to follow along. So a simple following along with a pencil or anything goes such a long way, especially when it comes down to the confidence of them. For the confidence of the reading. As Isabel mentioned earlier, guys, being able to read in whatever language is important. Being able to stay in touch with your roots, your original roots, is important. You know what I mean? Going through this, it makes me think, man, I wish my mom would have made me read in Spanish as well. You know what, Hamijo? One day we're going to read English. One day we're going to go ahead and read Spanish. It was just English, just because obviously at the time I didn't know how to speak it. And obviously being able to prompt your kid with questions. Being able to read is one thing, guys. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this real clear. Being able to read is one thing. Internalizing that information is a completely separate thing. So being able to ask them questions in regards to the reading, what do you predict would happen? And then what actually happened? Speaking to them about the feelings that the characters had at the end, being able to make a connection to the book. And I always say that to my kids, I always say, make 3-way connections, make a connection to the world, to the media, and then to yourself. Because the more connections we make with what we are reading, the more we're able to understand and internalize it. And obviously act it out. Get silly with your kid, sometimes. You know what I mean? Get on a carpet and start acting out what you're seeing. And that is going to allow them to obviously understand the book even more, because in order for them to understand in order for them to act something out, they have to understand it. All right. Any questions or comments on this, man? Or let me ask y'all this. Drop it in the chat if you already, whether when you're cooking, dinner for the kids, whether when you're, folding laundry, or whether you're being able to sit down and allowing your student to read. Is anybody already doing this? Raise your hands if you're already doing this. Let's see. And the react, can we get the chat? Can't quite see
I
it.
got you, Danila. So look, we got Stefisha that says that Carter reads at breakfast to us now, which he does. First thing we do in the morning while he's getting his breakfast, he'll pull a book out. Let me see what some other people said, that it's definitely important. Fox, shout out to Fox, principal of LWL, joining us for the session. She said understanding what we're reading is important. That is definitely very important. And then another parent said, Emily said these strategies can be done in all languages. Let's see what else. I do read with my son. Yoridia said, I do read with my son, but he doesn't understand me when I speak Spanish to him. And it's difficult for me to speak in English and he understands Spanish. Ah, that's a good one to bring up. What do you think about that, Danilo? What are some ways you, Yaridia?
Yaridia. Can you read that one more time? Sorry.
So she says that she speaks Spanish to him and it's difficult for her because he speaks English and he understands some Spanish. So she tries. So she tries. So what would you say to do for that?
I would say this, depending on what grade this student is in, go ahead and buy some books, some books that are below his grade level. And maybe allow him to start reading some of those Spanish books. You know what I mean? And also remember, folks, this is also an opportunity for us to continue to elevate our own literacy skills. I always like to ask folks, what book are you reading?
Well, I know for me, I'm always in traffic. I'm a single mom of 2, and I can't always read to my child. So what we do is we play a game. Baby, read, like I live at Starbucks. Baby, read something off the menu at Starbucks, or read some of the exit signs. I'm looking for this exit that says this, or it's this number. Can you help me find it?
I love it. I love it. That's dope. That's dope. You know what I mean? Because we have to improvise. We have to improvise. We live busy lives. We got to take care of these kids, and being able to do that is dope, man. I might when I have kids, I might mess around and take my kid to an Italian restaurant, be like, read me the menu. Oh man. I see some laughters in there, guys. Come on, loosen up, loosen up. I love it. I love it. Cool. Let me check the chat, see if I got any last ones. Audiobooks are great. I love that. Audiobooks. We listen to chapter books in the car while we go get through the library app. Cool. Awesome. That's dope. I love that. Se puede aprovechar cualquier oportunidad para leer. Olivia Padilla is saying that you have to take advantage of every opportunity you have to be able to read. I spoke to someone yesterday, and I was speaking to the power of a minute. There's so much time and so much power in 1 minute, y'all. And I think we got to continue to go ahead and take advantage of that. So awesome. Cool. Let's go ahead and move forward. So being able to set a reading routine at home is super important, guys. And here are some things that can help when it comes down to that. Practice reading at home in any language as we talk. This is another important piece. Finding a quiet place, guys. Turning off the tablets, turning off the phones, turning off the TV. Please put those distractions away. Take a book walk. Have a book talk. Celebrate reading and make it fun. Somebody, one of the deans of literacy a while ago told me, she was like, everybody loves to read. They just have to find the right book. So when anybody ever tells me, man, I don't like to read, I'm like, you just haven't found the right book, man. And that's all it is. And that's part of, for me, is making it fun. And obviously writing down how many minutes you read, a reading log. This is where we get into the partnership, guys. You go to the ELA teacher, you go to the English teacher. Hey, man, is there a reading log that you can give my kids so we can go ahead and get rocking on being able to track some of this? And then obviously giving yourself a sticker each time you read at home is always important. I love the stickers, man. I don't get them anymore because I don't get shots at the doctor. Cool. Isabel, would you like to go ahead and come off of mute and explain a little bit what this reading chart is?
Yes, Danilo. So, todas las familias, let me go to Spanish. Espérame. Sorry. So, todas las familias que recibieron su binder, en la página, no recuerdo el número, la 26, está esta hoja y están unas estrellitas. So, las familias de Achieve, les recomiendo que todas las noches que lean, le ponen una estrellita y me mandan la foto de su estudiante y la vamos a publicar aquí para ver que están haciendo el trabajo. En el binder van a encontrar muchas hojas que tienen palabras y son adecuadas a nivel del niño. Recuerden que todas las familias que estamos aquí es porque estamos necesitadas de práctica, bueno, no necesitadas, necesitamos como estrategias para ayudar a leer a nuestros hijos. So, cada binder que tienen ustedes tiene lecturas específicas, palabras específicas con las que sus hijos van a avanzar mucho más en la lectura, con la que nuestros hijos, perdón, incluyendo el mío. Todas las noches que lean con sus hijos, mándenme una foto, un video de 30 segundos y vamos a intentar ponerlo en los próximos slides para que sientan emocionados de ver a sus hijos en estas juntas en la noche. Y vamos a monitorear el progreso desde ahorita de sus hijos. Por ejemplo, si su hijo lee 20 palabras por minuto, pero tiene que leer 60, de aquí a 4 meses, perdón, de aquí a 2 meses vamos a ver cuánto subió. Si está interesada en saber cuántas palabras por minuto está leyendo su hijo, las familias de Achieve, vengan conmigo y con mucho gusto les doy esa información. Al igual que las otras familias de todas las escuelas.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Isabel. Let's go ahead. And I believe this is time for our breakout groups. However, before we do this, man, I'm going to go ahead and put Isabel on the spot a little bit and give her a little bit, a lot of praise. So if you can go ahead and come off of mute, I've already given y'all an exemplar. Y'all have gone and did superb on it. Let's go ahead and give Isabel a Fia woo woo on the count of 3. All right, here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Woo woo.
Good, Isabel. Gracias.
Awesome, awesome, Isabel. I hope you felt that love because it was definitely good. Appreciate you facilitating this part with me. Cool. So, all right, folks, we are going to go ahead and jump into our breakout. Ooh, let me put some folks. Awesome. We're going to go ahead and jump into our breakout rooms, folks. In your breakout groups, you're going to go ahead and hop into these discussion questions and talk a little bit more and engage a little bit more in a smaller group where you're able to, come off of mute and talk, not be as shy. Please turn those cameras on. And what I do and what I will ask folks is please go ahead and pick and find someone to go ahead and come back and share a little bit of a summary about what you guys talked about. So if we can go ahead and get rocking on those, you are going to go ahead and see a little icon that pops up on your screen asking you to join a breakout group. Go ahead and get to it. All right, folks.
Is it Velia or Velia?
Yeah, Velia.
Velia. I think I'm supposed to do English with LWL.
Let me go ahead and there you go, Velia. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I thought I had put, I'm gonna need for you to go out and then come back. Sorry.
Cool. Awesome. Go ahead and hit that button that says join. Get to it, folks. We are coming back. Coming back. Let me see how many people I have in here. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, we got about only 15. We got some more people coming in. Yeah, we had a powerful conversation over in the LWL English crew. And oh dang. Yo, that number jumped from 15 to like 60 something now. Oh, okay. Most folks are in the building. I love it. We had a powerful session over here, guys. And people got a little humor in my group, which is dope. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and actually report back a little bit and give a little bit of a quick summary. I would love for whoever comes off of me to share maybe a quick little 30 to 45-second summary about what you guys spoke about in the overarching theme of it. Excuse me, Steph, did you guys pick anybody?
Oh, yes, we did. Where is our humble servant? Come, please come to the stage.
Kristen.
Hi guys, I'm Kristen, and a little summary about what we went over. We just got to introduce ourselves and what school our kid was in and where they were actually at and what level of reading they were actually at and some of our strengths and struggles with them. We talked about advocating how ways that we could go back to each school and provide the information given here. And I'm a little nervous, you guys, doing this, but we kind of got all together. It's pretty much, having a voice, advocating for the things that we need, helping others, and finding different ways we could bring it. Yeah, like I said, bring it back to our school. Yeah,
I love that, Kristen. And I couldn't tell you was nervous, girl. You was performing, so I love it. I love it. Cool. Let's see. Rocio, did you guys pick anybody to share about what you guys talked about in your group with Daisy?
Yes, we have Isaías Vázquez. Señor Isaías, salga del mudo, ándele.
Gracias, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Isaías, con 2 hijos en la CIR, uno en 4º grado, otro en 7º. Bueno, me tocó un grupo con señoras que ya tienen mucha experiencia y mi aportación es de que estamos preocupados. Estuvimos hablando de diferentes métodos para poder ayudar a nuestros hijos, porque a una de las personas que estaba en nuestro grupo, ella nos dio una experiencia personal donde se ha puesto a trabajar con su hijo y su hijo de estar en un 40 y algo en lectura por minuto, ahora está en un 80, 70, 80, va muy bien. Entonces estuvimos intercambiando varias experiencias que considero que van a ser de mucha ayuda y agradezco personalmente toda esta información que me está ayudando mucho porque para mí no tenía tanta información, ahora estoy tomando más información. De antemano, muchas gracias.
I love it. I love it. Good to see you again, as always, sir. All right, so check it out, y'all. Now I'm gonna bring my crew to the stage, and this woman got a dope name. I couldn't say it at first, and then she said it's like mom, but with an F. So can I please get Fam up to the stage to share a little bit about what we talked about?
Hi everyone. Yes, my name is Tom. So what we talked about first was what was our feelings, any surprises, whatever that the slides that we went through, and the main point was that all the data that was showing, it's concerning because a lot of our youth is very low in literacy, and we're talking about how literacy is very important, and that it takes a whole team, it takes a whole village, like going back to what we were saying, that it takes a whole village to bring these kids up in literacy and whatnot. And like they said, there's no I in team, but there's an I in village. It's like I do remember, and that kind of resonates with me because it takes more than just a few people to do this work together. It takes everyone. Everyone has to input, whether it's like the family at home, the school, even the student itself. It takes everyone. And then we're talking about what ways we read with our children at home and who we do it for. Mostly, I believe everybody in here are at least parents or some kind of school staff. So we do it for the students. We do it for our own kids. We do it for them. That's who we're doing because they are the future. So so we just talked about the different practices. A lot of our families that shared, they already have something set up where there's a parent who uses incentives, like they like playing Roblox or whatnot. So then their incentive is going to Target at the end of the week. For me myself, I was saying that I have my 6th grader read to my 2-year-old and ask the 2-year-old simple questions like what he sees in the book, like, oh, what color is this, or where's the ball, or simple things like that.
That's dope. Thank you so much. What about Isabel and Areli? Did you guys pick on someone to come back and give a quick summary of the breakout group?
We did not pick someone, but I don't doubt someone's going to jump in. Yo sé que nuestros padres no nos van a dejar atrás porque compartimos muy buenas estrategias, así es de que, ¿quién quiere compartir? Es que la plática estaba tan buena que no llegamos a escoger a alguien.
I love it. I love it. You want to just call on someone, Coach Seaton?
Yeah, let me look at it. Mariana, ¿gustaría compartir? Ay, disculpe, salió la primera en la pantalla.
I love it. Díganos, Mariana.
Ya viene, ya viene.
Mariana. Ok, bueno, hablamos sobre como padres en poder comprometernos con nuestros hijos, tenerle como objetivo a partir de ahora, hablar de ellos como no mandarlos a ponte a leer, sino a compañía. Hay que ponernos a leer juntos para incentivarlos y lograr un objetivo con ellos. Poco a poco, tampoco es exigirle demasiado como para no desanimarlos. Tener como objetivos los libros, aprovechar que en las escuelas también tenemos libros gratuitos y lograr ese objetivo que es con la lectura, ¿no?
That's dope. That's dope. Thank you, Mariana, and obviously thank you, Coach C. Thank you, Isabel, for
Muchísimas gracias, Mariana.
Yep. You guys did a dope job. Cool. So check it out. Those groups that I didn't call on, I'm gonna go ahead and call on y'all when we get back. So y'all gonna get some of this love too. Don't worry about it. Because we do have another breakout group and some more conversation to get to. But we do have a training that we're gonna go ahead and go through. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Jenny to the virtual stage. So Jenny, would you like to come off of mute and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who you are and why you do what you do?
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I am a family coordinator at Ascend. I actually, like Danilo, I'm also an alumni from the school that I now work at. So yeah, it's a privilege to be here with you guys tonight. Shout out to my Ascend families for being here with me, and yeah.
Dope. Thank you, Jenny. Cool. All right, folks. So man, y'all done heard me talk enough tonight. I'm not gonna go ahead and give y'all more of an introduction, but I do want to go ahead and say this. This organizing training is super important, y'all, because it starts with us. And this is what this is all about. The first revolution is internal. Because if that fire ain't burning inside, I don't know how you're gonna light me up. I don't know how you're gonna light up the next person. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about. All right, folks. So here at FIA, we have something called the Power Coat Parable. Let me go ahead and move these faces out the way so I can read a little better. Here we go. Cool. Awesome. So the Power Code Parable. Power made me a coat. For a long time, I kept it in my closet. I didn't like to wear it much, but I always took good care of it. When I first started wearing it again, it smelled like mothballs. As I wore it more, it started fitting better, and it stopped smelling like mothballs. I was afraid if I wore the coat too much, someone would want to take it, or else I would accidentally leave it in the dojo dressing room. But it has my name on it. But it has my name on the label now, and it doesn't fit anyone else. When people ask me where I found such a becoming garment, I tell them about the tailor, the power, who knows how to make the coat that you grow into. First, you must find the courage to approach him and ask him to make your coat. Then you must find the patience inside yourself to wear that coat until it fits. So my question to Jenny now is, Jenny, you got your power coat on, girl? Where is that?
Yeah, I got it on tonight. Do you have it on?
Oh man, you already know, man. I might go get it because it's a little chilly in my house right now. So I might actually go get a coat. So yes, cool.
All right. Like Danilo mentioned earlier, the first revolution is internal. This is the power principle for tonight's meeting. Every session, we're going to start off with a power principle that we're going to focus on for the session of that day. So yeah, the first revolution is internal. What does this power principle mean to me? To me, I feel like this is telling me that I have to believe in myself and I have to work on myself before anybody else does or anybody else believes in me. So yeah, that's what we're going to focus on for today. The first revolution is internal. Does anybody want to come off mute or in the chat box share what does this power principle mean to you?
Or even then, put it in the chat if you got your power coat on. How about that? I want to see that too. Put it into the chat. Do folks have their power coats on? Suited and booted, Steffi. I love it. Daisy said yes. Awesome, Cecilia Perez. Emily says, I got it on and it's fitted. She said she didn't got that thing tailored. Maria from LWL said yes. And Melissa even threw the little Melissa from LWL threw the little emoji in there. That's dope. I like it.
Well, mine stay on, so I ain't gotta never take it off. Stay ready, and I ain't gotta be ready. Get ready. Excuse me.
That's right.
Man, you just can't. You might as well. You want to go ahead and hop on this training? I'm gonna go ahead and hop off, Miss Phillips. You I might call on you in 2 weeks to come do a training with us. That's dope. Jenny.
I feel like it means confidence, having confidence in yourself, being confident, because yeah, courage, confident, like owning who you are as an individual, owning who you are, you know. I feel like confidence goes a long way because people could see that on you. Once you put that on, you know, and you get in your confidence, it's like it does something to the spirit, you know what I mean? And people can see that when you walk with confidence. It's a strong, very strong.
Yes, thank you, Kristen. I like the word confidence. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share what this power principle means to them?
Sí, para mí significa que tenemos que ser el cambio que queremos ver. No nada más tenemos que estar esperando que las cosas pasen, tenemos que poner acción y empezar a hacer las cosas para que fluyan, para que pasen de como tienen que pasar. So, tenemos que hacer algo para que las cosas cambien.
Thank you, Mayra. Be the change you want to see. I love that. All right. You want to go to the next slide, Danilo? All right. So for the next part, I really want to encourage everybody to put the power code on. I know for many of you, it may be a little bit snug, or for others, it might be sitting in the closet still. But I do want to encourage everybody to pull it out for tonight and test it out for the first time. I want to ask you what your guys' story of self is. What is your story with reading? What is your story? What is your original story for why it is that we're here today? I know for many of you, it might be the first time that we're talking about our story of self, or for others, you might think, my story doesn't matter. Why am I going to talk about it? But stories are really powerful. And I feel like every single one of you has a really strong and powerful story. And every single one of your stories matter.
I'll start.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'll start because this hits home for me because like my story was I was that child. I had barriers reading growing up, and then long story short, I was too ashamed to like get the help when I was younger. So that stirred me in a whole nother direction, especially being in Oakland. And now my daughter's actually struggling in that area. So I'm just trying to teach her to kind of get the help that she needs from the people that are willing to help and not be ashamed of it, because life could go in a way, another direction, being ashamed to ask for help. And I think we all need help and we all need to work together on that. So that's kind of like a short little thing with my story. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Kristen came ready tonight. She was ready to share. So like Kristen mentioned in her story, there is a challenge to the story of self, there is a choice, and there's an outcome. Let's see. Am I missing anything else, Danilo?
No. You know what was crazy? The beautiful part about it is Kristen actually went through the challenge, the choice, and outcome before you even got to it. So she gave us a little pretext to everything. And as I like to say as a teacher, obviously the exemplar. But no, I think you're good on that, Jenny. If you want to go ahead and move on to bringing someone else onto the stage.
All right. So while you guys are thinking about your story of self, I do want to hand it off to one of our amazing literacy champions, Miss Daisy Campos from Lizier, who will be sharing, her story of self with us tonight.
All right, y'all, check it out. We got to give Daisy a woo woo. Daisy and Jenny collectively a woo woo, but we got to go ahead and up that energy right now because I mean I know it's you can't tell, but you can't really tell just because we on Zoom. But so if we can come off of mute in about 3 seconds to say a feel woo woo, that would be dope. Uno, dos, tres.
Woo! Woo!
Daisy! Go Daisy!
Woo woo!
Okay, man, y'all done recharged me. I love it. Daisy, come on to the stage, girl.
Hola, buenas noches. Gracias por ese Wood. Y antes de comenzar con mi historia, quiero darles nuevamente una vez más la bienvenida a todos estos papás y mamás que tenemos con nosotros y créanme que no se van a arrepentir de haber tomado esta decisión de participar en este grupo de literatura porque obtendrán mucha muy buena información para apoyar a sus hijos aún más en la lectura en casa. Y bueno, pues ahora paso con mi historia. Como dije, soy Daisy Campos y tengo un niño y una niña en la escuela La Cier. Soy de El Salvador. Decidí unirme a este instituto porque soy una mamá que le gusta aprender cosas nuevas, ya que eso me ayuda a ser una madre más informada y así poder apoyar aún más a mis hijos. Mi historia de cómo aprendí a leer comienza con mi abuela materna. Yo crecí con ella y ella no sabía ni leer ni escribir. Por lo tanto, ella no sabía que yo tenía que ir ya sea a un preescolar o a un jardín de niños. Entonces, de un solo me pusieron a primer grado sin yo tan siquiera saber ni escribir mi nombre ni saber el abecedario. Y no tenía ningún apoyo de eso. Lo único que tenía era este librito que no sé si lo pueden mirar. En El Salvador se llama silabario y con esto aprendemos a leer nosotros y es muy diferente al que usan aquí. Atrás sí trae todo el abecedario completo. Entonces, pero ¿de qué me servía tener esto si yo no lo sabía utilizar? Entonces, cuando mi abuela vio que yo me empezaba a frustrar, que no sabía cómo leer ni nada de eso, decidió buscar la ayuda de un primo que era mucho mayor que yo para así poder ir practicando poco a poco. Y otro recurso que también utilicé fue, en El Salvador se llaman casas de la cultura, son aquí como las bibliotecas. En esos lugares hay maestros que ayudan a los estudiantes dependiendo del nivel de grado, de lectura, de cómo uno esté. Entonces ellos me apoyaron mucho y así fue como fui aprendiendo y por eso creo que es muy importante que nosotros nos involucremos en la educación de nuestros hijos, porque de esa manera es como nosotros aprendemos y los apoyamos aún más y así ellos no vivan esas experiencias que nosotros vivimos. Gracias.
Man, that
Woo,
that was
Daisy!
powerful. Yep, another woo woo. Heck yeah, let's do it, man.
Woo!
Thank you, Daisy. And you know what? Daisy came ready with the materials and everything, man. She just showed us, she just showed us how she get down. And I love what you said, Daisy, that folks are not gonna regret coming on and getting this information.
Recording in progress.
Excuse me, getting this information and acting on it. So that's dope. Thank you, Daisy, for doing that. All right, folks. So check it out. We're gonna go into our last breakout group. And in this breakout group, there are going to be about 5 questions that I want everybody to focus on. Where's your power code at? What is a story of self? Think about and write down your own story. Practice sharing your story with each other. And then at last, of course, go ahead and pick on someone to give a quick little 30-second summary about what y'all spoke about. It seems like the groups are on fire last time. Let's go ahead and keep that thing going. Once you see a little button pop up on your screen, go ahead and get to that breakout group so we can get a little more going. All right, folks, let's get it. All right, we are back, folks. We are back. Let me go ahead and get the screen back up. Cool. Yo, I got hella inspired in my group, y'all. I don't know how y'all felt and what the conversations were like in your groups, but it was definitely a big inspiration to be in there with some of these folks. And I think I might have planted a seed with Miss Phillips over at LWL when it comes down to getting her to come on stage and maybe do some of these trainings with someone sooner or later. What do you think, Nikki?
Most definitely.
Cool, you got to help me water that seed, girl, because I done planted it.
Oh, I'm on it.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh yeah, she laughing. I love it. Heck yeah.
Yes, we hear you.
Love it, love it. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so check it out, folks.
Danilo, tell them if their group was fire, they need to go ahead and just drop it in the chat because ours was amazing.
Absolutely, man. Cool, cool, cool. So the last time, folks, we weren't obviously if you would love to give a little bit of summary in the chat as far as like what your group talked about, please go ahead and do so. I do want to go ahead and honor y'all time as well. There's about 5 minutes left of the time that's allocated for this, but I know that Corey's group didn't come up, or also Emily. So if you Corey, if you would, did you guys pick someone to come off from mute? I mean, to come back and share?
Es Marlene's group.
Marlene,
sí,
excuse me.
Sí, yo creo que fue Marta.
Hola,
¿no?
buenas tardes a todos. De nuestro grupo va a compartir Marta. Marta.
Let's get it, Marta.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marta y soy de Guatemala. Tengo mi niño en la escuela Aprendiendo Sin Límites y me inscribí aquí por Marlene, que me platicó de estas clases y me interesó mucho porque quiero aprender más cómo enseñar a mi niño a leer con él. Y pues yo aprendí a leer sola en la escuela porque mis padres nunca se sentaron a leer conmigo en casa, quizás por el tiempo que no tuvieron, y pues lo aprendí en la escuela, pero ahora yo no quiero que eso pase con mi niño. Si yo tengo el tiempo para dedicarle a él a leer, pues lo voy a hacer, y pues agradezco porque Marlene me platicó de estas clases que no sabía, y pues ahora yo también quiero aprender y estoy viendo muchas como ideas, cómo leer con los niños, algo que no sabía, y pues ahora me gusta y gracias por eso, y espero que mi niño pueda aprender esto, le ayude a él en su lectura. Gracias.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing. Emily and Maida's group, would you guys like to go ahead and report back?
Paula, ¿podría compartir con el grupo un poco de su historia? Paula, mamá de Sen.
Paola. Is there anyone else that comes to mind, Emily, that was in your group that was on fire that you think we can bring up to the stage?
José.
José, come on, vamos.
Pues mi historia, perdón.
Muchas gracias, José. Thank you.
Sí, como digamos, mi historia, como habló la paisana del Salvador, yo me vine del Salvador. Pues mi historia es que por la guerra que había, las personas se tuvieron que ir de un lugar a otro. Entonces, no había lo económico, una parte de lo económico. Nuestros padres, pues ellos querían más hacer dinero que mandarlos a la escuela. Entonces, por eso muchos de nosotros no aprendimos a leer ni a escribir porque no los mandaban a la escuela, porque casi puro trabajar. Y ahora, pues, que los venimos para este país. Bueno, yo llegué a tercer grado, pues, pero fue muy difícil, pues. Y cuando nosotros teníamos la ganas de estudiar, pero no los mandaban a la escuela. Entonces, aquí la oportunidad que hay, que pues los niños van a la escuela, hay muchas oportunidades, no más que a veces uno no los asesoramos, pues, y como ya traemos la mente que solo queremos trabajar, hacer dinero, los descuidamos de nuestros hijos.
Oh man. Oh
Yeah.
man. Jose,
Y, pues,
that was, oh, sorry, go ahead. Finish, please,
y,
sorry.
y ese es lo que ahorita yo me he enfocado, porque a mi primera hija no le di ese tiempo a ella, pues ella ya tiene 17 años y no le di el tiempo a ella de enseñarle. Me decía, ve a las reuniones de mi escuela, ve ayudarme a hacer tareas, y yo pues cansado con 2 trabajos, pues no podía.
Absolutamente.
Y ya ahorita que ya mi niño me salió un poquito más especial, pues ya le he tomado más en cuenta, y por lo que mi hija me ha enseñado también, ya estoy tratando la manera de enseñarle a él, pues a sentarme con él, porque ellos necesitan también cariño, y con cariño decirle, esta es la A, la B, la C, y ese tiempo no tenía antes, pues porque estaba enfocado en otras cosas. Pero gracias a Dios he ido aprendiendo, y me estoy asesorando pues así en grupos, aprendiendo un poco más de los demás, pues.
Por supuesto, por
Sí.
supuesto. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jose, for sharing that powerful, powerful story. As I said, folks, we are nearing the end. We are at the end. It seems like the groups were super powerful. There was a lot of emotion and a lot of reflection in the breakout groups. So we're gonna go ahead and just talk a little bit about this week's homework, folks, which you can find in that binder. We want y'all to go ahead and set up a routine at home for the reading. Book walks, book talks, some independent reading. Please make sure you set a routine. And like we said, we could try a book walk or a book talk or enact it out. Also, please take some videos. Please take some pictures, right? Because we can go ahead and put them up on here. And, for my Latino folks, el Facebook, lo quieren poner ahí, right? Like, hey, you know what? My baby made it up on the presentation that I'm a part of. So let's go ahead and start sharing that. Also, if we can start sharing our stories of self, folks. Start sharing our story of self, especially when it comes down to literature, with other people, with at least 2 more parents, and then ask them about theirs. Those are your 3 things that we want you to focus on. Now, the last but not least, right? If we can please, there's an evaluation that Viv dropped into the chat. If we can go ahead and click on that link, please take the time to go ahead and fill that out. Let us know some grows, let us know some glows, so that we can go ahead and continue to make these institutes easier for you guys, better for you guys, more entertaining for you guys, more engaging for you all. That is the feedback that we are looking for. Y'all have been super dope. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. This was the first time that I have been on an institute or behind an institute to this extent. Y'all have made this.
Danilo, let me stop you. Everyone. This is his first institute owning Lit for Literacy. So I need everyone to come off mute and give Danilo a big woo woo. Okay, we're gonna count it off again. 1, 2, 3.
Woohoo, Danilo! Thank
Danilo! Good job, Danilo!
Buenas noches, buenas
I'm
noches.
awkward giving you your flowers when you hear
Buenas
Danilo. You
noches.
did great
Appreciate
today.
it.
Shout out to you.
Thank you. And remember,
Hey, you
folks, we're
guys,
gonna see.
super quickly, I believe that the link that you sent out is the edited forms for Google Forms. The link that you guys sent out, it's the edit forms. It's not the actual questionnaire.
Okay, we'll go ahead and fix that. Appreciate that. Thank you, Tania. Appreciate you.
For sure.
Cool. And folks, remember, we don't see y'all next week. Let's go ahead and get y'all out to that forum. We got a big forum coming up. February 8th. Get to it. We will see y'all
Raise your hand if you already read.